In this lesson, we'll begin drawing a character within the boundaries of our second shape. Okay, so in the previous lesson, we finished refining our first character up here, and I've gone ahead and split those out into its basic shape, its pencil lines, and then its inked outlines. So, I'm just going to move to the right here, and let's go ahead and focus on this second shape here. Remember, we're sticking to pretty much female characters, and, I drew this shape, and I'm looking at this shape, and thinking, the first thing I see here is some kind of a crazy hat. So, you know what, I tell you what, let's go ahead and set up our layers, make sure we're on the correct layer here, and I'm just going to go ahead and begin sketching out a character within the boundaries of this next shape here. Let me just zoom in a little bit more on that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our basic brush tool again, and I'm going to go ahead and set the opacity on that to about 30% here. And we've got our blue color selected, so I'm just going to come in here and first, again, start with a basic ellipse. So let me just come in here and sketch that in. I'm going to pull that in right about there, just like so. Alright, so we've got our ellipse. Now remember, this is where the spine is going to connect. And, if this is the ellipse of the head, I'm seeing this little appendage down here is possibly a neck or a position for the neck. So, if we talk about this being a hat, let's go ahead and hang the face off this left side, And I'm thinking here, the different types of hats we could make this. And, just kind of running through my head, what would a woman wear as a hat? Now, what kind of woman would wear this type of hat? So, at this point, in determining what type of hat to draw, maybe we need to determine what type of character we're going to draw here. So, I'm seeing a nice round face shape here starting to come out. And, this is a face that maybe it's a heavier set woman, and maybe it's a woman with some age, some years on her. So, let's just kind of come in and draw some cheek type shapes here. And, let's go ahead and split our sphere down and kind of establish the direction of our face here. Just by pulling in a direction line there. Now that we could carry that direction line all the way down the face here, just like so. Really split that chin. We're going to see more of this side of the chin, so maybe that chin needs to come a little bit further out. So we've got our basic head shape here, plus an initial shape for our face. And we can kind of come in and really work on these shapes a little bit, refining those and pulling those out some. So before we come in and start focusing on details in the face, I think I'm going to come in and work on this hat some because, based on the position of our sphere here, this hat feels a little squished. It feels taller right here and here than it does in the center. And, I don't think that that's going to work. So I'm just going to kind of pull in some lines here. And, maybe these lines don't have to necessarily curve this direction. Maybe they actually curve the opposite direction, forming more of a bowl shape. And we'll come in and draw in a line. We'll extend this out a little bit further, sort of like that. These shapes that I've given you are really just for reference. If you're seeing a character evolve from one of these shapes, don't be afraid to just break out of the shape some, like we're doing right now. So, hopefully you're following along either with these shapes or, even maybe you've drawn some shapes of your own and you're just looking here for ideas and reference on workflows. So, like I said in the I believe the first lesson, this is something I do quite often when I'm searching for a character to draw, and maybe I'm not sure what type of character I want to draw, and these are just very early concepts. So these are meant to be taken to another level once you've decided on maybe a direction you want to go or a character that has some potential. So these by no means are production ready characters or anything like that. So these are just quick idea generations. So kind of looking down here below this hat over here, and we've got sort of this appendage right here, and I'm thinking, if we've got a cheek here, we're going to have an ear in this area somewhere here, maybe right around in here. Just kind of draw a rough ear shape right there. Then we've got this shape right here, and I'm thinking, what could we make that into? What could that be? Maybe there's a ponytail that comes down here, sort of like that. We've got maybe this neck shape here. This neck shape takes on this line right here, but maybe we go ahead and pull in another line right here. And again, don't be afraid to hide that shape if it's getting in your way, so you can kind of see your character beginning to evolve. And, maybe this neck needs to be a little further back. If we've got an ear up here, then, these two lines aren't necessarily going to work. So we'll just go ahead and erase those really quickly here, and maybe that neck comes out more like this. This is really just for general direction of the neck right here. this little appendage right here. So we're deviating from the initial shape some, and I'm still kind of mulling this shape or this appendage over in my head. Let's go ahead and move on and take a look here at some facial features. Maybe we could go ahead and map out sort of the eyes and the nose and the mouth here. So think about the eyes. We've got these nice round cheeks that are connecting right around in here. So maybe we want to put those a little above center here. Maybe we're looking sort of at the face more where the chin is going to be closer to us. So let's go ahead and draw in sort of a guideline right here for the eyes. It's going to wrap around. We're going to obviously see more of this half of the face. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the nose. Maybe we go ahead and pull in a guideline right about there for the nose, and maybe we got one right about here for the mouth. Okay. Let's go ahead and roughly place in some eyes here. I'm going to go ahead and pull in maybe some dots right about there and there just to kind of get the positioning down here. Then we've got a nice nose here, so let's maybe kind of pull in a nose shape. Sort of like that. Maybe it's we talked about this being a little thicker of a woman, maybe a little heavier set woman. So maybe we've got these round cheeks and sort of a pudgy nose here. Again, we can refine all this later. I'm just kind of roughly pulling out some of the details here. Let's go ahead and think about maybe some very large lips here. Maybe we've got sort of this kind of thing going on, where we see a lot of very almost expressive lips, very much lips that have a lot of attitude to them. I'll just kind of pull these out and kind of accentuate the angles in the lips. Sort of like that. And then we maybe come in and kind of pull in this middle line and kind of explore how these two lips are going to meet and be pursed together here. Alright, so we've started to pull in some of these facial features. I'm going to come back up here to the eyes, and I'm kind of thinking about what kind of eye I want to pull in for this character. And, we're looking at her from sort of the bottom up. So maybe, again, we're dealing with a much more curved line here at the top of the eye than at the bottom, because this bottom line is going to be closer to us. So we're going to see more of this angle here. So, eyes, there's so many different ways to draw an eye. Really, drawing the eyes is kind of a trial and error type thing. It's a matter of experimenting some and finding the best eye for your character. So, don't be afraid to redraw the eyes if you need to, or maybe, go a different direction with those. So, looking here at that eye, and the emotion that's conveyed with that eye, it doesn't feel real strong and very, it feels almost weak, if that makes sense. And this character seems like someone who would be very, very strong, very outspoken. So I'm going to come in and maybe we pull in a little different type of eye here. Let's come in and bring in a nice round expressive eye. Sort of like that. Maybe we could actually bring that down just a little bit. Don't be afraid to come in and erase some of that extra line work if it's getting in your way. We'll just color that pupil in there just to kind of get a good idea of what's going on here. Let's go ahead and bounce up here to the hat and think about the hat for a moment. Maybe, this is actually, it looks like a bowl. Maybe it's actually is a bowl and it's got some different fruit type items in it. So, maybe we'll just kind of roughly pencil some of those in right now. Let's go ahead and just kind of give the bowl some dimension here. And I'll just come in and roughly start pulling in some shapes. Maybe we have some bananas in the bowl. Maybe there's some apples or oranges, and if at this point you think of something to put in the bowl in terms of like a fruit or something like that, don't be afraid to look online and pull up some references for this type of thing. Look at some photographs or things like that. Kind of come in here and pull in another banana maybe. Just really kind of fill this basket with different fruit objects in this case. Alright, so we're looking really good here. Let's go ahead and pull in one more, and we don't have any like grape-like shapes. So I'm going to come in and quickly do some really rough ellipses here to kind of simulate some grapes. Some banana type shapes, and maybe those grapes carry on to this side over here. So looking really good at this point. Maybe this shape right here is actually like a pineapple. So let me come in here and sort of kind of give this a pineapple look here. Give us an idea of where to go with that. And pineapples have these long stalky leaves that grow out of the tops. So I'm going to come in and kind of pull in some of those type pointy leaves here. Sort of like that. Alright, so looking pretty good. Bouncing back down here in the face and thinking about this appendage here. Maybe this actually, we talked about this maybe being a ponytail. Maybe she's actually got sort of a roll in her hair. Sort of like that. And maybe it kind of comes up and connects here, and it's just kind of hanging. So let's go ahead and pull in a shape sort of like that. Let's go ahead and refine this ear shape a little bit more here. So you can see here, really, this is just kind of a process of refinement. It's starting really rough, really loose, and then it's a matter of refining some of these shapes out. So, this eye right here is going to mimic this eye right here. So, but we're looking at that from a much different angle here. So, if some of this line work's getting in your way, don't be afraid to erase that. And I'm still not confident that I like that eye right there, but I'd like to see it with another eye. So before we make the decision to erase that and, start with a different styled eye. So let's just come in here and draw in another eye shape. Obviously this one's going to be very foreshortened, being that it's on the opposite side of her face. So I'm going to come in and pull that in sort of like that. Maybe we need some eyebrows on her. Let's go ahead and give her some eyebrows with a lot of personality here. And looking here at our character, I see this area right here, and it's giving me some issues, giving me some problems, and I think I know what might fix that. Maybe we can give her some eyeglasses here that sort of sit on the rim of her nose, or right on the brim of her nose, real far down on her face. Sort of like that. This eye right here is still kind of giving me some issues. I'm not really feeling that eye, so I'm going to come in here, erase that, and let's just redraw that here. And maybe we could even give her some eyebrows here. So maybe we come in and change these eyes up just a little bit. So actually, let me undo that just a little here, and let's see if we can't maybe add that eyebrow on top here. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So we'll come over here, add another eye, and just erase away some of this line work if it's getting in our way. Continuing to just kind of match this up. Now we know the style of this eye. Let's come in and draw in this eye sort of like this. Now I may come in and clean this up some between lessons, but I think I'm done spending time on those eyes for right now. Let's hide our shape and see what this is looking like here. I think there's some definite potential here. So, I think what I'd like to do at this point is go ahead and begin refining the line work out here. Now, I may come in and touch some of this up that, maybe standing out to me between lessons here. But in the next lesson, we're going to pick up where we're leaving off here, and we're going to begin refining the line work on this second character.